Greetings, I'm Russ North, and in this video I'm going to show you how to program your EV3 LEGO Mindstorms robot to respond to the environment using a few different sensors. I'm going to start with using the touch sensor, and then we'll use the ultrasonic sensor. You'll notice that I already have my program open. I have my blank palette all ready to go. I've saved the program under a different name so it's easier to find on my brick when I want it to start. Now we're going to start this program by telling the robot to wait. Sounds a little strange, but we're going to have it wait until we push the touch sensor so it's ready to go. To do that, we need to go over to our flow control blocks, which are in the orange section of our program. The second one has an hourglass on it, and when you hover over it, it says wait, and that's the one we want. We're going to move that up right next to our start block. Now right now it's set to wait for 1 second, but we want it, as I said, to start once we hit the touch sensor. So we click on the time square and we scroll down until we find touch sensor. And we're going to hit compare and state. Then we're going to go over to this first variable and we're going to change that to 2, which means it's bumped. It's pushed and released. And it will make it easier for us to have our robot start accurately. Well, we've got that done. Now after the push button, the touch sensor is pushed, we want the robot to go forward until it detects something in the way of its path using the ultrasonic sensor. Once it detects something, we're going to have it stop, turn a little bit, and then drive forward again. And it will continue doing that until we turn off the robot. That's the plan. So to do that, we're going to start with a loop block. And this will save down on our program immensely. So all we need to do is take our loop block, which happens to be right next to the wait block, and we're going to drag it up next to the wait block we've already installed. You notice here it's on the unlimited. You can change that to a number of counts, or you can even change it to another sensor, like you hit the push button again. I'm going to leave it in unlimited. Now we need to make the robot go forward. So we go to our action buttons, which is in the green tab. We're going to use the move steering block. We're going to slide that inside the loop block. Right now it's scheduled on for 1 rotation at 50 power. We want it to just keep going. So we're going to click on the on for rotations button, and we're going to change that to on. You notice that some of the variables disappear now. We're going to have it go straight, which is represented by the 0 in the steering variable, at 50 power. Now we want it to stop once it detects something with the ultrasonic sensor. To do that, we're going to go back to our flow control and we're going to grab another wait block. We're going to put that right next to our steering block, like so, and this time of changing it, instead of changing it to the touch sensor, we're going to change it to the ultrasonic sensor, compare distance in centimeters. Now, the first variable here is whether we want it to do the action when the sensor detects something greater than, less than, or equal to the value we are going to provide. We want it to do less than. So once the ultrasonic sensor detects an object, if the distance is less than or equal to what we've programmed it to, it will wait. So we need to make sure we have the less than or equal to, which is there. Now in our next variable, this is the distance that it's going to do this action. 50 centimeters is quite a good distance. So it's probably too much for what we need. We need to determine how far away from an object we want our robot to stop. Now to help us, we have an item on our program called port view, located in the bottom right corner. Normally we see the brick information. If you go down to the next button, you'll see port view. When we click on that, we're going to see all the motors and all the sensors that are currently attached to our robot. The one we're worried about right now is the ultrasonic sensor right here. And you'll notice we have this number 255 and centimeters there. That is the furthest distance that the ultrasonic sensor can be programmed to use, to detect. What we want to find is one that's a little smaller so that it's not miles away from an object before it turns. So I'm going to place my hand in front of my ultrasonic sensor, and you'll notice that the numbers change. And I'm going to move my hand back. Now I need to give the robot a little bit of room because it is a rectangular robot, and where the wheels are located, it's not going to rotate exactly on the center, so the rear end of the robot might be a little longer. So I want to make sure I give it a little extra room so the rear end of the robot doesn't strike the object that we're trying to block. So I'm looking, and it looks probably about 20 centimeters is probably good. So I'm going to put that number here, 20 centimeters. Next, after it stops, we need to tell it to turn a little bit so it gets out of the way. So we're going to go back to our action blocks. We're going to grab our move steering block, move that next to our weight for the ultrasonic sensor block, and we'll leave it on for rotations. We'll change the rotations to, let's say 3. We don't want it to go forward anymore. We want it to turn. So we're going to turn it all the way around. So it's going to pretty much spin on itself at 50 power for 3 rotations. So it might actually end up doing a loop. We'll find out once we test it. Now, we're done. Because after it completes this task, it's going to loop all the way around back to here and start again going forward. Then it will stop when it detects another object in its way. It will turn, and it will just keep on going and keep on going. All right, now the next step is to load our program into our robot. We'll just go to brick information view just to make sure we're still connected. I noticed that my EV3 is red here, so it means it's connected, and I'm just going to download it. Here we go. All right, I got the sound, means it's successfully loaded. Now let's test it out. Now let's see if our sensor program works. I'm going to start the program. Nothing should happen. All right, so let's see if I can get it to go forward when the touch sensor is pressed. And there it goes. All right, getting close to the wall. Oh, stop. It's turning. Senses something else in the way. Well, this one might take a little while. I'll put my foot in the way. Man, it seems to work.